Triangles, triangles, triangles. It's been a month. We haven't had an episode from a month. And Tyler, I'm still talking about triangles. Triangle.
Jon?
Yo.
No, not again. No, not again.
Oh, no. What's up, boys? How's it going?
Okay, cool.
Welcome to Mob Rules. The music cuts out a little bit based on the way we record. That's A-okay. I am Jon, joined, of course, by...
Danny.
And we have with us...
Hello, it's me, Taylor.
It is you, Taylor. And we are back for another amazing Mob Rules. How are you guys doing? It's been a long time. It's been a month that we have... that it's been since we've actually recorded. For Mob Rules, obviously Danny and I have been doing our amazing Frontline Gaming Network Grim After Dark, which every one of you listening should be watching. Otherwise, we'll be fired so quickly. Holy cow.
Please watch.
Please watch.
Oh, no.
And actually, as of recording this right now, we actually just finished about 40 minutes ago recording the Grim After Dark. Yeah. So I'm like, while we have us all together, let's just kind of get back in and kind of talk over some stuff and do some chats, do the Mob Rules. Taylor, we asked Taylor in because Taylor and I went to a tournament last weekend. Danny toured scenic Idaho, which I'm sure is just as interesting, potato quality levels as the tournament that we went to. But starting with Danny here, what have you been up to the past couple weeks or month? Holy cow! I gotta change all my stick now. Goddamn.
It's been a month. So, I don't know. God, I've been up to a bunch. So, I've been building AdMech like the cheap meta chasing whore that I am.
Can I just say how thankful I am that you're moving when you say shit like that?
So I've been building Iron Striders at work. I've gotten like 4 almost done, although I need to I keep forgetting to bring in extra basing materials because I want to dynamically pose some. Like I built 3 and they're pretty bog standard, but I also want 3 that are like walking on stuff so that they look a little bit different than the basic pose, because that's pretty boring.
Nice.
Yep, so building those, and then when I get home, when I have time, I build Skitarii, because I have a ton of Skitarii to build. So I've been doing that for hobby stuff. Otherwise, it's been like moving central here. So I've been just trying to figure out all the stuff I need to get together so that I can move down to Idaho, which my wife and I went down for a long weekend this last weekend to kind of like check things out. I managed to check out the local gaming club, which was pretty sweet. They have like it was the Mama's Boys is the name of the club. They're super friendly, which is awesome. I had a friend who was a part of them, and he kind of introduced me, which is pretty rad. And they have like a clubhouse above their the game store there.
Oh,
that they rent out. And what's that?
A sex addict.
Yeah, a sex addict, right? And not to be confused with a sex addict.
No. There's no.
That would be ridiculous.
Unlike that, there's no D here.
Right. Unless you mean D strength templates, because I'm pretty sure they play Heresy. I don't know.
Bunch of nerds.
But there's they have like 6 game tables upstairs with tons of terrain, like super chill group. It seems like really pretty relaxed. They have a couple of competitive players as well, so that'll be nice. I'll have some folks that I know that I'll travel to events for or with potentially, and then I also went up to Spokane to check out the game store up there, and luckily enough for me, they were having an RTT. And so I got to meet the owner of Gamers Haven, which was a beautiful store, like all hardwood floors, dark wood, like really like a real boutique game store. And then, like a 24-person RTT there that weekend, which is their first weekend of having events. So I'm sure that number will grow. It looked like they had plenty of room for more gamers. Yeah, but it looked like, man, the hobby there was crazy good. Like so many like well painted armies, like everybody's stuff looked great. The terrain looked amazing. Like it was super high class. I'm very excited to get in some games up there too. So yeah,
Gonna have to up
it
your
was.
hobby game.
Yeah, I actually have to like finish an army, paint my models, that kind of stuff. So bunch of bullshit.
Sounds fucking rad.
Yeah, Taylor, what have you been up to, man?
Oh my god. Well, like you, I am moving into a new home. And so I have now done that. We now live in a different place than the place we lived before, which is rad. What else? Oh, I have been painting AdMech. I played AdMech in that tournament. But I'm also rebuilding my Drakari because I just can't fight the call of melee in my heart. I just can't do it. I have to play fast melee armies or I'll die. What else? Honestly, the move has been eating up most of my life. Honestly, other than I've been getting some building in here and there. Oh, I bought a Typhon for Heresy.
Cool.
Just the Chungus Vindicator. I love that thing so much. What else? Me and the boys are gonna have an Apocalypse game this Saturday and Sunday. So that'll be fun, but that hasn't happened yet.
Or it's happening right now. Or it already happened.
God, I wish, dude. It's gonna take so long. Other than that, I think that's about it. What have you been doing,
Is
John?
the length a pro or a con?
Yes, both. Absolutely.
It is both good and bad. Man, so much stuff. So I turned part of my closet into a studio for recording, so that I could do things without bugging my amazing family. But more hobby related, I decided to just paint up shit I had lying around the house. So I'm batch painting 20 Bolter Plague Marines right now.
Nice.
I already have like 35 painted. There is no reason for me to paint any more of these rather than just try to clear out the hobby pile a little bit. I also started 20 more Poxwalkers because everyone needs an even 100. That seems to be the number to go to. And then I started doing the characters from that kit. I painted up a flash mower for the tournament we went to last week, so I have 2 now. And then after that, I started painting a bunch of corn stuff. So I am batch painting corn right now, which is weird because it's not purple.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Painting a Plague Marine sounds like suffering, but I do agree that 100 Poxwalkers is like the number. Whenever I build Death Guard lists, that's where I try to get to.
Right. And it's super tough to get there, and we'll go into that a little bit later there as well.
For sure.
So yeah, I'm building towards a skew list for the possibly to take to the Las Vegas team tournament, because when you're like 50-50 on taking a list, the first thing you're going to do is paint 180 models and then call it good.
Right.
Yeah, that seems legit.
Seems legit. I've been sitting on this stupid list for like over a year, so I've got time to get off my butt about it.
It's time to unleash it on the world.
Which is just Scarbrand, Skull Taker, 4 units of 30 Blood Ladders, 3 units of 20 Furies. And that is like exactly 2,000 points.
Awesome.
Dude, I need to play against that list. I haven't had a chance to yet. I want to see how I can do against it.
Well, I'll be taking it on the 10th, so we'll see how it goes when we take it to the next one. That's what I'm
talking about.
My deal with the guys is I was going to try it out at an RTT and see how I did, because I know I can do well with Death Guard. I don't know how well I can do with like a skew list of just all blood letters. And yeah, each of those blood letters has a banner of blood as well. So that is a whole bunch of 3d6 inch charges. Real hopeful.
Is it 3 CP per? It's 3 CP to upgrade a pre-game, right?
Yeah, it's like 1 per unit, right, Danny? I also need to go back through and read the Demon Codex. So yeah, 4 CP on that.
Gotcha.
Plus 4 more CP to put 2 of the units into Deep Strike. And then, God, just hoping that I can Warp Surge with the remaining 4 CP. Maybe an interrupt or 2 to get in the way so Scarbrand doesn't just die horribly whenever anyone gets in contact with him. Because as great as it is for everyone within 6 inches of him to get an extra attack, on the downside, everyone within 6 inches of him gets an extra attack.
Sometimes that's not my friend.
It's not my friend. So the whole idea is kind of bubble wrap Scarbrand with Furies. So you have to kill all that stuff to get within 6 inches of him.
I can't wait to get my unit of infiltrators into range of Scarbrand and then pop the taser strat and the +1 attack strat and get 5 attacks per dude with 6s being 3 extra hits and 5s being 2 extra hits.
Good.
Man.
Good fucking luck getting within 6 inches of him. That's all I'm going to say. He's going to be so well wrapped, you're going to think I'm like shipping him to the lower 48. That's all I'm going for.
Okay.
So yeah, that I've been putting that together, and I caved. I did contrast, so it's just like Flesh Terror Red, which is a really really great looking red.
Sure.
And then I actually painted the skin properly on Scarbrand though, no contrast, and it came out looking awesome.
Oh wow!
Ooh, hell yeah, dude!
And it
looks good.
It got me all kinds of hype, so I'm excited to get that done. So yeah,
Sean, I heard you liked that red so much that you painted your couch with it. Is that true?
I did. So I'm batch painting 180 models, so I'm doing 30 at a time. And they're like taped to paint sticks, so I can like spray and then contrast and do other stuff. While I'm putting drowning them in contrast, I turn the model to get the other side, and it just knocks the contrast onto my lap and onto the couch, and in between the couch cushions. And let me tell you, Flesh Terror Red, real deep color, real strong, vibrant red color.
That's the true experience. Getting that shit everywhere.
So yeah, I ruined one of my hoodies and shorts, but I saved the couch cushions, and based on my wife's reaction, I made the right decision. So that's all that matters on that one. I'm more pissed that an $8 pot of paint fell, but
that's expensive.
That's me. Yeah,
that's a lot.
Contrast, real expensive, but it's 2 paints in 1. So there you go, semi-free contrast GW. Thanks. We looked over the Dominion box, Annie. We got sent the Age of Sigmar 3.0 Dominion box.
Yeah.
The the Urax, the Swamp Urax, and the Cruel Boys, and the new Sigmarine 2.0s, the new Stormcast Eternals. I don't know why their name is escaping me. We're just gonna touch on it briefly, just because we had an amazing review copy.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna cough off camera. The rule changes really, really solid. I still hate the double turn.
Same.
Yeah, that's kind of what's keeping me away from the game.
If they were to get rid of the double turn, I think I would jump on that really quick, because it's a really solid rule set, really fluid, super super fun. The Honest Wargamer.
All the changes have been super positive for this edition. Like, I love the I love like the new formations, more or less, like the battalions, the generic ones, and I like that they decided to get rid of all the War Scroll battalions too, like from match play. I think that's a great idea
because they're real janky.
Yeah, exactly, and like losing their single deploy status is huge. Only one basically battalion gets to do that in your army, or I guess if you have multiple of that battalion, you could do that, but you don't want to. Like, I think, I don't know. Getting first turn is not that big of a deal. I think we're getting first priority. So yeah, it's super interesting. I'm very excited to see where the game goes. I hope that I don't know. I mean, I don't see the double turn going away, just because it seems like Games Workshop really values that for whatever reason, some inexplicable reason I don't really understand. Because it's a terrible fucking mechanic.
Yeah,
it's really fucking bad.
Sorry, yeah. If you listen to the interview they did about it when they first announced it, like, the designers are really excited about the double turn, and I don't get that at all personally. But I mean, it's their game.
Well, it's because the designers don't actually play the game.
Oh,
you're like
strong.
They just really like the formatting of the words on the page, the way it hit the banner just right. They look beautiful in print.
Yeah. It does look cool.
Yeah. Oh man, the book is beautiful. Like, it's really pretty. Like,
sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't really understand. Like, I've definitely had a lot of people like tell me that I don't really understand Age of Sigmar if I don't like the double turn, which I think is just bullshit. Like, to be honest, like, it's not that complicated of a game. And like, yeah, okay, you can play really cagey to kind of sort of play around it, and only lose some stuff, but the fact that you lose some stuff in the first place just means it's a bad rule. So like it's just bad. It's just all around bad. I don't know.
I think that the double turn only works the way people tell me who I'm wrong about it works is when both players are playing only melee heavy armies. As soon as the armies that are fighting each other are shooting or mortal wound dumps, it just like, well, it doesn't matter that the activations don't happen with charge priority. I just kind of get mortal wounded off the table.
Yeah, let me tell you how much fun our friend Nate had playing against my Night Haunt back when their mortal wound bombs were like really, really bad. When I would get a double turn and just fucking yeet half his army off the table.
Bet the boy had a great time.
Yep.
And there's some mitigation factors now where like you like the person who gets the last turn gets to like remove objectives if they get double turn. Like so there's stuff like that which is kind of interesting. But still a harsh mechanic. I really just don't understand why. Like, if you're gonna keep a priority roll, then then the game needs to be resolved in like unit activations. Like that's the only way that really works well. When it's whole army activations, like I go, you go, like it sucks. So
100% agree.
Yeah, but like, all right. So I bitched enough about this. The miniatures for Age of Sigmar are amazing. And
incredible.
Like they're way better than 40k miniatures. I think that if you're into the hobby aspect, more than the gaming aspect, the game is way better than 40k, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's really fair.
I totally think that all of the trainee designers go to 40k first, and then when they graduate out of there, they get to go work on Age of Sigmar and make weird, bullshitty Ocean Cape people and giant snake ladies and.
Dude, have you seen the Kragnos model? That model is so freaking cool.
It's
and like
bizarre. It's like they give all the designers, hey, do whatever you fuck you want. We'll add rules to whatever.
Yeah.
He's a big centaur man who's a big god. Just go crazy.
Who makes earthquakes and then like the stuff from the new starter set, the Cruel Boys are amazing models. Like, and they're different from the normal orcs, which I both like and dislike. I think I like it in that it makes them distinct from the 40k orcs.
Yeah.
But it's just something you got to get used to. But like the hound that the general is riding for the Cruel Boys is so huge and so cool. It's like a way better warg from Lord of the Rings.
Dude, it's like when I pulled that screw out, it was huge. And that was the first thing I showed you. Was like, look at the size of this thing. And then I pulled out the Cruel Boys screw, and it was like, whoa.
I was like,
those Blood Knights are fucking calling to me, man.
Oh my god, they're cool. Yeah,
I want to play that army so bad.
Dude, them and all the wolf models are super cool. Like, I would love to start a Vampire Counts army that's based on like the wolf guys. Whatever.
Hell yeah! I forgot that's what I'm fucking talking about.
As soon as we hashtag end the double turn.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm starting a Twitter campaign right now.
Oh shit.
GW will notice this one. They will.
Notice me sometime.
Oh man. Yeah, on to 40k. We're gonna take a quick break. Again, the Dominion box is amazing. It's delayed in the US, but still grab it because geez, those models are like the winged angel Stormcast girl is just so good.
And they're Terminators.
Oh,
and also, thank you, Games Workshop, for sending us that. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's super good. It's going to get us really interested in Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, like I'll definitely give it a try again. Like, just due to getting the box. But yeah, I'm pumped for those models.
Pumped. Man, how do we even do buttons anymore? It's been so long since we've had to do stuff ourselves.
Since you had to do things yourself.
Yeah. I'm all bougie now.
It's been 2 episodes.
Dude, I'm the best. I took first place at another tournament.
First off, stop with the thunder and lightning. You don't impress me. And second, let me check out the BCP rankings. And I don't see you on there.
What?
Your TO needs to download the Best Coast Pairings app and run events on it. After the event, the results are uploaded into BCP rankings, and the best part, it's easy and free.
But I play multiple game systems.
No big deal. The BCP app can be used for any game. A ton of events every weekend are using it. from major international tournaments to local stores. And now that it's available on Android devices, you're going to have some serious competition.
There can be only one.
BCP Rankings is a fun and exciting way to measure how you or your team stack up. No matter what you play, your score goes to an overall ranking. Or compete to be the best in a game, a circuit, a region, or the world.
Download the app or visit www.bestcoastpairings.com for more info.
Best Coast Pairings.
Are you the best?
Hello everybody, and welcome back to Lo-Fi Beats to Get Good To. I'm Innes Wilson, and this episode I am here to talk to you about playstyle. And not just about playstyle, but about why playstyle is a convenient lie we tell ourselves to hide the truth. So, first off, what is playstyle? Well, in typical terms, you would refer to playstyle as the way you like to do things in a game of 40k. Are you an aggressive player? Are you a defensive player? Do you like to take high-risk plays? Do you like to take low-risk plays? And all of those are fairly valid ways to look at the game of 40k. They are all have their benefits, they all have their disadvantages, but that's not what I'm here to talk about today. What I'm actually here to talk about is why playstyle is a convenient lie. And that's basically just meaning the way that we use playstyle in general conversation is a way to condense all of the mistakes you make in a game into one simple word that absolves you of responsibility. Why didn't you play this game aggressively? Well, that's not just my style. Why did you go all out turn one when you really just needed to sit back? Well, that's not my play style. Why did you go for a low risk play when their high risk play was there and it would have given you a better chance of winning the game than low risk? It's not my play style. These are all things that I'm sure you've heard, or I'm sure you've probably said something in the similar vein to. And I want people to take a step back when they say something like that, because I'm not necessarily saying that it's wrong to say that. It might be that you're more comfortable playing a style that is more risk averse or more risky or more defensive. These are all perfectly valid ways to play a game of 40k. But often, they're the wrong way for a given situation. And if you constrain yourself by thinking that you should only do things that are in your playstyle and your wheelhouse that you're comfortable with, you'll often find yourself missing out on opportunities that you could have taken in order to see better results from that game. So just for example, if you are playing a game and you have just to pull out some numbers, you have a 90% chance to win if you go for a super aggressive playstyle, and a 60% chance to win if you go for a super defensive playstyle. But you're more comfortable playing a defensive playstyle, you're probably going to go for the defensive playstyle. Again, don't take the numbers too seriously here, but just use them as a baseline concept. If you're more comfortable playing defensively, you know how to play defensively, you're experienced with it, you have the heuristics in your brain, it all makes sense to you, you're probably going to take that style despite the fact that maybe playing aggressively has a higher upside. And that's what I mean by saying playstyle is a convenient lie we tell ourselves. What playstyle actually means to me is these are the things that I'm good at and these are the things that I'm comfortable with, not necessarily the things that I should be doing. And we use them as a crutch to say it's less mental load for me to play in this way, it's less effort, I enjoy the game more. And those are all completely valid ways to approach a game of 40k. It's just that you need to make sure that you're not being constrained by them. It's entirely possible that you should be making completely different plays than your playstyle indicates that you should be doing. To give another example, a lot of people are very averse to playing hordes because they're slow, they take a long time, they're not massively fun to play for a lot of people. But if a horde list is the best list in the game, you should probably be playing a horde list because it's the optimal way to win the game of 40k. But a lot of people will be like, well, my playstyle just doesn't suit hordes. And what that generally means is they're slow, they're bad at making decisions quickly, they don't deal well with having that many models, or they have a bad back. Those are all, again, completely valid criticisms of playing a horde list. But one that's not is, a horde list isn't my playstyle. Because if you're a competitive player and your goal is to win, your playstyle should ultimately be the things that result in you having the highest win rate. And if you're making decisions based on not that, then you're just hiding behind the excuse of playstyle. And it's just a convenient way to bundle up all of the decisions that you should have made and could have made and have an easy excuse to say it. Why didn't you bring the best list that you could have? Well, my playstyle doesn't suit that list. It's just a very easy way to say something that condenses all of your mistakes into one easy, very simple to digest statement that nobody really scrutinizes, because what are you going to do? You're going to call people out for saying that their playstyle is one thing? No, it's not your playstyle, you're just a bitch. And I mean, you probably should do that, it'd be funnier, I'd enjoy it more. So anyway, that has been my rough thoughts on why playstyle is a shield, and that you should, try and avoid doing anything that's outside of your playstyle. Just, always stick to what you're good at. Never experiment, never expand, and then I'll play you at tournaments and we'll have fun. I promise. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Back to you, Jon and Danny.
What just happened?
It's true. I was very in the know the whole time.
Well, apparently when I'm playing music from the soundboard, you guys don't hear it. So, yeah, just wait for me to start talking again. And then when you're done ignoring me like big old jerks, you can start talking. It's great.
Proceeding.
Are we ignoring you now or not?
I mean, it's up to you. I mean, you're a dick, but it's just...
Oh.
Well,
speaking of dicks, let's hear your big dick swinging story from this weekend.
Hell yeah. Well, so while Danny was down settling and picking out his potato patch in western Idaho, Taylor and I, we went to the Welcome Back tournament at Tier 1, the first real big event since COVID. And it turned out to be an 18-person event that was totally full.
God, we sure fucking did, bro. It was awesome.
It was so good. And what's surprised? Well, there was a lot of painted armies there, too. It was crazy.
Yeah, me and Nate were the only people there who weren't battle ready.
Well...
Damn.
Were you, though? I will say
no.
It was an amazing event. Their definition of battle ready was a little liberal, shall we say.
Sure. Right.
Oh, spice. What happened?
There were some armies where it's kind of like this armor is blue and also so is this sword hilt and also so is this sword. Like sort of stuff like that. So it's kind of... For long-time listeners, kind of back to like the 3-color minimum kind of expectation is kind of what was played, in my opinion. I don't know what you're thinking, Taylor.
No, that's correct. It's the minimum was 3-color minimum with intent, right? Intent and basing. Sorry.
Right. Not a whole lot of cohesion all over the place, but that's okay, right? Whereas like first tournament back, we're all getting used to it.
Yeah, first tournament back, like it's fine. If it wants to be like, I personally think it should be tightened up more because like. GW gave us an actual like picture of what battle ready is, right? So like I think we should probably use that measurement. But I mean it's the first tournament back. I'm not super worried about it.
No.
And like give some leeway to maybe somebody who's new or something like that, I think is probably pretty fair.
Yeah, totally.
I would say that was a super surprising thing to me as well. Like well over half of the store was people I had never seen before.
Dude, same.
Yeah. So yeah, out of the our regular crew was there. Sure, there was like 8 of us I recognized, but then there was at least 8 or 9 people I'd never met before. In fact, every single person I played, I had never played before.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was honestly the most exciting part to me personally is that there was just a ton of people I didn't know, and after like a year and a half of not playing in tournaments, like that's so exciting.
So Taylor, what did you bring to this shenanigan?
I brought 3 AdMech super buff characters. I brought 100 Skitarii, 40 of which were Vanguard. 40 of which were Rangers, 60 of which were Vanguard, 20 Infiltrators, and 3 Bombers. That was my list. It was all Lucius as well.
Yes.
2 patrols.
2 patrols.
2 patrols.
I took just obviously my Death Guard. I took a single battalion. I took a no special Death Guard characters. I took a Chaos Lord with a Bale Sword and a Plasma Pistol. I took my boy, Danny. I took a Death Guard Sorcerer and Terminator armor with a Chain Fist and Combi Melta.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, God. This is the softest event I've ever heard of.
I gave him Rotten Constitution as a Warlord trait, so he ignored AP 1 and 2. And then he also had the Warp Insect Hive relic from Mortarian's Anvil, so reroll all hits and wounds in combat. And then I had 5 Plague Marines because Death Guard army rules are stupid for construction and way too restrictive. And then 2 units of 20 Poxwalkers, 2 Contemptors with dual Volkite and a Hellforged Missile Hat. A unit of 4 Death Shroud with the champion having the Plague Skull of Gold. A unit of 3 Death Shroud, Foul Blightspawn with Arch Contaminator and Foul Revolting Stench Bats, a Tallyman with Tollkeeper, 2 Flesh Mower Blight Drones, and 2 Plague Burst Crawlers. That was my list. So round 1, I was paired against, let me pull up here, a guy I'd never met before. He let me know he was just Garage Hammer up until that point. Steve Gonzalez, who was playing Custodes. He had just a couple of units of Virtus Praetors, a Bike Captain, a unit of Valaris Terminators, which, man, are they a pain in the ass.
They're tough.
Love those dudes.
God, that was the worst. And like 3 units of just like regular Custodes, and then Banner Boy was his warlord. He was super aggressive, which probably isn't the right call into my list, where I'm very resilient and swing back very well.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was super aggressive into me, and I kind of just punched him in close combat till he died.
Right.
That was the first game. I'm like, whoa, double Volkite is stupid. Holy shit.
So good, dude.
Holy shit. Why haven't I run this since day one? It is so incredibly broken with Tollkeeper. It's crazy good. I think, so with the Tallyman, I was able to give kind of my contemptors, like one of them +1 to hit because they're core. That Redemptor was getting on average 18 to 20 hits with every shooting attack.
Of course he was.
Which, when he only has 16 shots, real primo. And yeah,
pretty good. That's pretty good.
it's pretty good. And then, of course, the amount of mortal wounds that was putting out was just stupid too. He made a couple really good plays. Like, even though like he was super aggressive with it, Steve used the stratagem to bring down his Alaris Terminators within 3 inches of my guys. He did that to get on an objective, and because he was objective secured, it knocked me off of it.
Oh, nice.
How did you feel about that, John?
I was like, man, that's a really good play. Because like he almost immediately as well separated it into 6 individual units instead of 1 unit of 6. So now I'm like, in my head, I'm like, man, well, that's your objective, I guess, because there's no way I can split my attacks effectively enough between 4 units that are on here.
Is that actually how that works, Taylor?
I'm checking right now. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's at the beginning of movement phase.
Oh, he did it. Oh, no, next turn he did it then.
Okay.
Okay,
You had a turn to shoot at them as a whole unit, and
right?
You chose not to do that.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I sure did not. No, I chose to shoot it as Bike Captain and the other 2 units and objectives.
I see. Okay.
So yeah,
Gotcha. Cool.
clearing up. But then he split them all up, and I'm like, wow, I guess that's your objective now. And I learned an important lesson that when Alaris Terminator's deep strike, shoot them very quickly before they can split.
Shoot them now.
Yeah, it's they're great. It's like, hey, do you have the firepower to efficiently remove, I don't know, 6 Bike Captains with the 2+ save, essentially, right?
I mean, I
generally no.
I did, but I didn't target priority. I prioritized clearing off 2 objectives instead of 1.
Right. But like individually, right? Because like it's easy to kill that profile, but it's kind of harder to kill like 8 of them efficiently without wasting shots.
You just have to overkill it every time, and that just feels bad.
Correct.
Yeah, and I don't think that you made a bad call or anything, John. I mean,
no, same.
But like, I mean, clearing two objectives is pretty freaking good too. So
hell yeah, sir.
Turns out mortal wounds versus Custodes and cover, just chef's kiss.
Really good.
It just doesn't feel awesome for those dudes.
No. And then one of the units I double hit, so like I advanced forward with my Death Shred squad and threw my little plague grenade as well. So they got Volkited and plague grenaded and just got really kind of pushed off there. And it was a really good game, and I had a good conversation with him afterwards, and he was like, hey, what could I have done differently? And I'm like, just stay away from me. Just anything you do, like, you have the speed, you have the ability to pick your battles, just stay away. And he made, like I said, a couple of really good calls, like with Alaris coming down where they did, and kind of pretty much wrapping up the right-hand side of the board, because, like, I'm not going to try and waste my time overkilling 6 individual units. But yeah, it was a super good game. I learned a lot about Custodes. It was actually like the second game in a row against Custodes, so like I feel pretty good with them now. They have a couple of super nasty tricks, and it's just kind of trying to mitigate those that really work for me now. Taylor, your game won.
Up?
Oh yeah, I won that game 92-38.
Yeah. Let's talk about our own one. Cool. So I played Mike Pestilence of Warhammer fame. If you guys have read his blog, it's relatively popular. Like I read his blog before I knew who he was. Like coming up here, So he was a pretty cool guy. Okay, Danny, do you remember when we played in the Iron Man GT? And do you remember when I essentially left 500 points of the board of my army off the board, and I also forgot to do all of my buffs turn one? It was a lot like that, except every single turn.
Oh no, that's bad. Don't do that.
Yeah. So I started the game being wrong. He was like, "Okay, hey, do you have any fallback and shoot mechanics?" And I said, "No." Like a moron, because I absolutely do. The first ability of the Artisan Holy Order trait is just fall back and shoot. And I take that in every list because it's awesome. But I said no, and I thus convincing myself that no, I actually don't have that ability.
Oh, I thought you were trying to mind game him or something, where you're like, no, I don't have that. But I do.
I'm surprised sir. You don't have programmed retreat as well.
I was trying the 2+ cover save that tournament. So my thought was, well, also in list building, I was like, okay, I have at least one fallback and shoot that I can fall back on, and that's fine. But I wanted to try the 2+ cover save or just become in cover save bonus, just as another layer of durability, because people in our meta really love super heavies. So I figured that if I could put one defense buff on 3 squads, then that would be efficient enough for me to not, or it would let me lose less than oh God, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to not lose as much here if I could put 3 defensive damage. There we go, bam, those are words. Instead of just 2, as just 2 means that like the target priority is a lot easier for my opponents. It didn't pan out that way at all. The cover save is completely worthless, was never worthwhile, and I should have just taken program retreat. I also had 3 bombers, so it's like, okay, I have the 1 fallback and shoot. If I can't use that here, I could try to bomb myself out of combat, and that could be okay. Like, that could be another out. Didn't work. Didn't work like that. I was wrong. But lesson learned, for sure. Right, so, okay, we start out with me just being wrong about my army. Second thing I'm wrong about my army with is when a plane drops a bomb if they want to do it on a Demon Prince, they absolutely get 6 dice, not 1, because a Demon Prince is not infantry, and I don't know why I thought that he was.
Man.
So instead of choosing to bomb the Demon Prince, I chose to bomb a Rhino full of Noise Marines. Now, I don't actually think choosing to bomb the Rhino full of Noise Marines is wrong if I choose to move my Disintegrator to the left side of the board and shoot it if it doesn't die, instead of just not doing that at all. I plan to. Yeah. So I also, like a moron, used the +1 to hit Doctrina, just complete waste of that Doctrina. No reason for me to use that turn 1. But to go back to what Jon said, mind games are cringe, and that's why we don't do them. That's not how you should play the game, basically, ever.
Then how many planes did you have? 2.5, 2?
I had 3. Oh no, you're right. I had 2.5. Because I lied. My first actual action of the tournament is dropping 1 and immediately detonating it upon the floor.
Fantastic.
This game for you was just like everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong.
Yeah, it was a fucking cascade, my man. It was not awesome. And what sucks is I was really excited to play Mike Pestilence because he's another good player. I'm always excited to fight good players. But I just made a fucking moron of myself. So that's unfortunate. Well, what else did I do wrong? Basically it all stems from that. I just forgot my rules. I placed some stuff wrong. I forgot that the desperate breakout stratagem, the stratagem that I have literally screamed about for like months, just straight up forgot it existed.
Oh yeah.
And moved my entire army wrong as a result. So yeah, not an awesome showing for me.
That was my bad on the table talking there.
Oh no, it's good. I won't forget. I won't forget now. Trust me.
Because Danny, so my game finished with like an hour 45 left on the clock, so I'm kind of walking around, and obviously like the Taylor Pestilence game is like one I want to pay attention to. And I go over and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, great, I'm locked in combat and can't get out. And I'm like, isn't there a stratagem for that in the big book? He's like, So I'm like,
yeah, just shriek.
Just stop talking and walk away.
That actually worked out for me because instead of killing my tech priest on my turn like he wanted to, so he could then move and shoot on his turn, the tech priest actually decided to just not die. And so he was stuck, 20 noise marines were stuck with him in combat on his turn. So that actually felt pretty good.
Oh my
but it didn't it didn't dig me out of the hole I had dug myself for myself though, which is unfortunate. It was fine though. Like first tournament back, I was mad that I played badly. I was not mad that I lost, which is what I try to do. But yeah, Mike's he was a pretty cool guy at the table. Didn't have any problems with them. Go read his blog, I guess. But yeah, so that was me. We'll go back, send it back to Jon.
Yeah, so like I'm watching the results. I'm sitting at like a 92, and I'm like, okay, crap.
Oh,
yeah.
Here, Taylor, what was your score in that game?
Oh, it was 92 to 51.
Yep.
Like I said, I was not battle ready this tournament, so I was actually 61.
So you managed to score a bunch of points out of that game, actually. 60
yeah, like
good.
Right. So it was a loss that I like really shoved myself into, but I did manage to pull it back and score like a bunch of points. So I am happy about that.
Yeah.
Well,
yes, sir.
I was outside looking at the results coming in and seeing I was paired against Matt Morse, and I'm like, oh well, like the standings were looking like I was going to be paired into Matt. And Matt, who was running a giant forge-rolled knight and a bunch of lightning log armigers. I was just like, oh Christ, I don't want to play that. God, I don't want to play that. I can't play that. God, I don't want to play that. And then someone's like, oh cool, you don't have to play. I'm like, oh cool, I don't have to play against all those knights. I have no answers. It's like, oh, you're gonna play Mike Pestilence, who's like one of the two people at this tournament I was trying to submarine past, with the other being Taylor, because they're a much higher skill caliber than I am.
That's just not true.
Well, we're getting to that. Spoiler. Shh.
Oh my god.
So I go paired up against Mike and his army. He was a little disappointed with the terrain, even after we rearranged it a bunch. And it really lined up in a way where there was no line of sight anywhere. So like both of us spent our first turns just kind of moving like a little bit, like trying to poke out like a little leg here and there to try and get shots and things. But yeah, it was great. It was, you can always tell when you're playing against like a certain kind of caliber of player because they're doing things that you're like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Like, so, like Mike was measuring threat ranges. So like he would measure, my movement, then my gun range, and then his movement and things to kind of see where he would be safe and where he wouldn't be safe, and where things were moving away. But the way my list was kind of built, I'm able to kind of split it in half. So like one side had my, like a flash mower and then the Contemptor Dreads and the Chaos Lords over there and the Tallyman's over there. And because he has Gloaming Bloat, which takes away all kinds of rerolls and things, probably don't want to charge into there. And then the other side had some, like the big squad of Death Shroud and kind of another flash mower and the tanks to really add some durability in there. So I was able to split that up, and he kind of castled up in one corner, with sort of a Venom Crawler and some, the Raptors, like one little minimum squad of Raptors holding an objective on the other side of the table. He took raised banners, which, I need to start figuring out a way to take it, because seeing him score it was like super impressive. He pulled like a couple of really awesome tricks. Like he had a Dark Apostle and the Dark Disciples, and the Dark Disciples raised banners on the objective. And I couldn't shoot them to get them off the objective because they were within 3 inches of the Dark Apostle. I couldn't shoot the Dark Apostle because they were within 3 inches of the cultists. I'm like, there's a really neat little trick there to just kind of really protect a unit to actually kind of do those actions. And he was reliably scoring like 3 points every turn on it. And that was a super cool trick. The other thing I learned was charge moves. Like I have serious addition fatigue. Like for me thinking like when I charge, I have to end up closest as close as possible to the unit I declared against. And when Mike... No, exactly. Mike rolled an 11 for cultist charges. I pretty much just yellowed them up the table and had like 2 like in touch with the flash mower, and then used a pylon move to bad touch a plague burst crawler. And I was like, wow, that's a really cool move. And I was like, is that a thing? And then I looked it up and I'm like, oh shit, that's a thing. I could get so much. Oh my god! I could get so much cool free movement out of that, which really helped me in game 3. Yeah, so, but luckily I was able to reliably kill like 1 or 2 units a turn. So like starting with taking out the drag claw first, because I know those things are nasty. Took out the venom crawlers, any sort of vehicle, and then the noise marines, and then just kind of cleaning up. He had a lot of volume of fire from the noise marines, but once I took out like the drag claw and the venom crawlers and anything that could really hurt me, I'm sure there's like 4 blast masters, but actual noise marine guns aren't super effective against Death Shroud. So keeping them in the forefront. He did deep strike a couple squads of Terminators into my back lines, but they failed to charge. And again, they were shooting Maltas at Death Shroud, so I think he killed 1 off of the drop turn. And then the other ones, he dropped a unit of kind of like Lightning Claw Terminators and went and charged into my Chaos Lord Tallyman Dreadnoughts. And again, I got to bad touch my Dreadnoughts with some great charge moves. But because I was able to have my Chaos Lord there with Gloaming Blow, it really takes away a lot of the benefit of the Lightning Claws of not being able to reroll wounds. So I made a whole lot of 4-ups for that. So my Chaos Lord survived. And yeah, it just, from that, it started kind of turning away. About turn 3, I got a little bit, frustrated at the game state because, again, I was making a ton of saves. Noise Marines, again, don't really do anything to what I was showing to Noise Marines. But yeah, I ended up taking that game 80-33.
Nice.
Hell yeah, dude.
Good job, man.
Yeah, which was it. It was a super good game, and like I said, I think I was talking to Mike afterwards, and I'm like, man, you should just have your ass kicked by Danny for a year. Like, if he's your only like Warhammer opponent for like a good solid year, then you kind of start to pick up on a couple of things, and I have noticed myself starting to make some of those moves, like real big brain.
Yeah, that's tech I definitely wish I had taken advantage of.
But I used most of them in game 3 to just real big brain that. But Taylor, your game 2.
Yes, my game 2. My game 2 was against an Alpha Legion player. Dude I'd never played, again, which is great. I like I said, love to see new faces. His army was painted excellently. Everything looked great. Most of it was converted from heresy stuff. Like he had like 10 Lernians converted to do stuff. He also had a bunch of Rubric Marines with flamers, which I thought was pretty interesting. AP2 flamers are no joke in most circumstances. Oh my god! In most circumstances, especially with easy access to +1 to wound, they can teleport around. I think they can do 1,000-stone stuff. So like that's pretty neat. But unfortunately, he started most of his army in a position where I could either see it or easily move to see it. And that's not really something you want to do with 1 wound Marines against Admech who ignore cover. So my turn 1, I killed all of his Havocs that were on the board. I killed all of his Tactical Marines. I killed his Contemptor. And I killed a character. I killed all of his Cultists. I killed... so when going into his turn 1, all he had left was 1 character on 2 wounds and a Rhino.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Brutal.
yeah. Yeah, it was a Dawn of War deployment. And I was playing Lucius, and I had 3 bombers. So, and the stuff the bombers wanted to bomb were placed in a way where they could fly over it and still remain on the board and turn. So I got all of my bombs, all of my shooting efficiency. I teleported turn 1 with all the buffs into optimal position, and most of my other stuff didn't really have to move because it was Dawn of War. And with the range extending ability of the Manipulus, like, I can just kind of reach out, right? So, yeah, all of those 1 wound Marines just had a bad day. And then on his, I killed the character that I could see, and then on his turn 2, he jumped out the rubrics. I killed those. Killed the Rhino. I killed the Terminators that came down. And then, yeah, on his turn 3, all he had left was a character. So we felt a pretty good calling it there.
Dang.
It was really brutal. And it was really unfortunate because dude was a good guy. I always hate doing that. I hate doing that to new players.
So let me ask you something here, because like I had a similar experience like round 1 where we finished after like less than an hour.
Right.
Pretty much tabled. Real similar experience there. And again, we're playing into newer players. What do you do to kind of help make that not just the worst fucking experience for them?
Well, being me, I'm super high energy at the table. And if the other player vibes with that, then we generally just have a good time. I always try to pump the brakes as much as possible with newer players, but if my army just kind of does what it does, like I can't like, I will now choose to not kill this obvious target because, it's a tournament. We're there to compete. But I'm not gonna like be a dick about it. I'm not gonna like try to conceal what I'm trying to do. Like, hey, I'm gonna be very clear about everything I'm doing, why I'm doing it. Hopefully they get something out of our game more than just rolling like save rolls, And I try to be like as cool and upbeat as I possibly can. If they don't vibe with that, I'll just put my head down and play the game. But generally they do, and I don't think I've had a bad game with a newer player in years.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So something I was doing was like when he would move towards my guys, I'd be like, hey, just to let you know, that character behind means you won't count as charging if you charge, so you won't get your rerolls and like things like that, and just kind of pointing out things that could happen. Because again, you want to be as welcoming as possible. Obviously, while still playing like as tight a game as you can and kind of playing to your best.
Right.
But I mean, I remember like the dick stomping days when I would show up and just get trashed like completely. And it's kind of like, how do you make that feel better? Did you do like a talk down after the game where you kind of talked about the game, things that could be done different?
Yeah, I always try to. And like I said, I find that just explaining what you're doing and why you're doing it at the table, because like, even if you explain your entire strategy and why you're doing something that you're doing, you're still implementing it, right? Like, you're still going to win that game. So it's fine. Just like inform the other player as much as you can, because generally I find that like explaining why this is happening is healthy for learning. Sure. Obviously, I mean, yeah, right. But like, I feel I've found that generally to be like the best way to play with new players.
Danny, you've stomped on a lot of dicks in your time. How, in the Warhammer sense, how do you make that a great experience for, say, a newer player or someone who isn't kind of used to the scene?
So, luckily for me, like when a game is not intense, I'm actually pretty fun. So like I just try and have fun with them and like, like challenge their characters to Mortal Kombat and do things that are like, pretty stupid, but otherwise like tactically stupid to do, but fun. So like I just try and have like,
I was going to say like charge a bunch of Stone Crusher Carnifexes with the Taunar. Or...
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. It wasn't a Taunar.
Oh,
it
no.
Was just a Storm Surge.
Yeah, the Storm Surge.
But yeah, the day that I proved that Tau have close combat supremacy over Tyranids was a great victory for the greater good. Let me tell you that, John.
I tell you how sad I was that my new freshly painted Stone Crushers just got fucking destroyed.
Literally, the stomp rule meant that normally a really crappy unit, like in close combat, actually was pretty effective sometimes. Especially when you rolled the strength D on the stomps and just like removed all the card effects.
Hell yeah. Love me some stomps.
Definition was very fun and fair.
Yeah, I think the key is like you don't have to go so hard. Like you can actually sacrifice a lot of your army, maybe keep the game a little bit interesting, but also make it a lot of fun for your opponent. But I'm a pretty risky guy. That's never bit me in the butt yet, but I'm sure it will at some point.
Right. Hope it does. Yeah, so my round 3, I played against Death Guard in a Terminus S list, which was super cool to see. There was like 4 Death Guard players there in a field of 18.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And
like, that's too much, honestly.
And everyone was different. Like there was a different list.
So what was his list? Because Alex's list isn't on BCP.
Yeah, so Alex's list was, let me look here from memory. So it was 70 Poxwalkers. So like 3 squads of 20 and a squad of 10. There was a squad of 10 cultists. There was a squad of Plague Marines. There was 2 5-man Blight Lords with a Flail of Corruption in each. There was a 6-man Death Shroud. A Biologist Putrefier with Arch Contaminator.
Yeah.
There was Typhus. There was a Foul Blight Spawn. And I think that was it. Yeah, that sounds about it. Run as Terminus Est. And we're going to get into this in a little bit of the next thing when we talk about Code of Conduct. But when he's reading out his list to me here, I'm like, well, yeah, you can't do that. And then after the game, I found out another thing he can't do that he was doing too. Where he had the Biologist Putrefier as his warlord. But when Typhus is in a Terminus S list, he has to be your warlord.
Yeah, gotta be him.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So there was that. And then...
So wait, he wasn't using the warlord trait that Typhus gets extra?
Nope.
Oh.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
And then the other thing he was doing was... he had a Malignant Plaguecaster too.
Okay.
Oh, and then 8 Possessed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
A lot of dudes. But yeah, when he was telling me his list, he was taking 1 power from the Terminus S table and 1 power from the Death Guard table.
Okay.
And I was like, can't do that. Yeah, they have to have the same table, same powers.
Right.
Which is like real tough find on like the 3rd round that is not being caught, which I think goes to show how complex the game is right now. Because I'm sure he wasn't like, yeah, man, I'm gonna fucking win by taking and mixing my powers up. Like it's an honest mistake. So the judge ruled that we just switch powers.
Yeah, that's not the end of the world or anything. But like it does go to show what the necessity of an official like army roster application is and how important that is for like competitive play to have list validation.
Yeah.
So I would really, really like to see there be like list checking to that degree. Hopefully soon.
Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't take like another player having to be like, oh, I play this army too.
Like judges shouldn't have to be a faction specialist in every faction to validate lists, you know?
Like, John, if you wouldn't have said that, I wouldn't have known that.
Right.
And I feel like I have a really good handle on rules. Like, I wouldn't have known. I would have been like, oh, okay.
And again, this goes to show kind of the complexity of army composition in 9th, because like when I'm coming up to the table, he's telling me he has 4 units of Poxwalkers. The first thing I'm doing is counting all his Heretic or Bubonic Astartes units. And like just like the weirdness that goes into building Death Guard armies and how many hoops you have to jump through to get there. It's really hard to catch unless you actually play that army. And there's a bunch of armies out there like that.
I get you because I play Necrons and I totally understand.
But yeah, so we set up, he did the typical Terminus S thing of like filling the deployment zone. It was the weird corners mission. What was the last mission?
Search and Destroy?
Search and destroy. There we go. So he filled his deployment zone with stuff. He used the Terminus Ast reserve powers to put his Biologist Putrefier in reserve, which was just a primo move, like super good move. That way
That's cool.
he could deep strike with the Death Shroud and kind of give them that little buff. And then everything else, apart from the Blight Lords, was on the table. Turns out 2 Volkite Contemptors with missile hats, real good at killing little things.
Boy, I bet they clean up.
So I killed like
I fucking bet. Jesus Christ.
So I killed 80 Poxwalkers in 2 turns.
That's a got him for sure.
Just an absolute god.
Absolute god. And here, what was that?
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I was going to say, that is an absolute 100% pure cut beef certified got him for sure.
It sure is.
Thank you.
And then I started doing things like, again, like I pulled out a lot of things I've learned from playing you, Danny, is like my first firing and getting rid of was focusing on the Poxwalker units that were around characters and kind of wiping them out. Not necessarily so much the ones that are going to grab objectives, but like kind of the ones to take away that protection. And because of that, I was able to snipe Typhus on turn 2 because he didn't have anything around him. And so, so I cleared out all the Poxwalkers. He brought a unit back, cleared that unit out again. I obviously took the Take No Prisoners secondary because knowing he's Terminus Ast and there's like 80 Poxwalkers there.
Probably 100.
Probably going to like be a lot of wounds there. I took out the Possessed with Plague Burst Crawlers and just kind of focused on those guys. I haven't fought against them in combat yet. I didn't really want to chance it. And there wasn't really anything else in the field that was super threatening. He picked some really good secondaries, though. He took Spread the Sickness, which with that many Poxwalkers and Cultists, super obvious to do. He also took Domination, or whatever it is now, where, hold more objectives.
Stranglehold.
Stranglehold, yeah. So obviously super good one for that one. I want to apologize to him for me consistently every turn overlooking units from like turn 3 onwards. Like, you only get 5 points per secondary. I'm like, I'm on 2 objectives. Like, oh shit, yeah, you are. My bad. I literally did that 3 turns in a row. And then it was really just killing all of the things that hold. Every single game I put a unit of 3 Death Shroud and the Chaos Sorcerer in the sky and pulled them down because it was a really nice sort of couple little threats. Where if I split them up, great. The Sorcerer is probably going to survive a bit with like ignoring AP 1 and 2 and being toughness 6 and having a 2-up save. If I don't, he's going to survive even better because of the Death Shroud. I will say he didn't melt it or chainsaw anything.
Okay.
Which makes me very sad because he's very pricey. For some reason, it's more expensive to take the Chain Fist on him than it is a Chaos Lord. With the same layout. So I'm like, okay, cool.
That's weird.
It is weird, right?
Doesn't he have a worse weapon skill too?
He does. He has a worse weapon skill. It costs more.
Awesome.
I think it's because I can spam them technically. That's my thinking behind it. Where I can only take 1 Chaos Lord per detachment. Whereas I can take infinite sorcerers, but again, it's
I know why.
What's that?
Because the Chain Fist is such an upgrade over his normal weapon, whereas the Terminator Warlord have stuff.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, wait. What does he have for a weapon? A Force Staff?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, never mind.
That's not that much of an upgrade. I'll shut up. I don't know.
I'm crying.
Well, he doesn't. Does he have a Stormbolter included in this price too?
Let me see. Let me pull it up here. That way we can solve this once and for all.
I don't know. This seems weird to me.
This is
John.
great. He comes equipped with a combi bolter and a force stave.
Okay.
Force staves are like 15 points. So yeah, that's cringe.
Yeah, I don't really understand.
And the Chaos Lord comes with a combi bolter and a power axe.
Oh yeah, that's a way worse weapon than the Force Staff.
Right.
So the only reason I can think of is because you can take more than 1 in a detachment, but even then they're fucking awful, and I probably won't take them again.
Sir, I'm cringing. I'm literally cringing.
Don't want you to take a Chain Fist on them. Like they're like, we're going to price it so absurdly that nobody takes
no idiot would be stupid enough to take a Chain Fist.
fucking moron would ever deign themselves to take this shitty piece of war gear? Enter John Quinnell.
Honestly, I just liked being able to deep strike him. Like, that was super useful. And especially, like, every game I took engage in all fronts. And one of the reasons was because I can pinpoint drop this really small footprint wherever I want it. Maybe, like, in future, I'll probably reduce his war gear a little bit. But cringe, what would I do instead? Upgrade Plague Marines? That seems real bad. There's nowhere really else for the points to go in the list right now.
If he doesn't have a Force Chain Fist, I don't want
it. No, it's a Chain Force Fist.
Yeah, there we go.
I will say, over all 3 games, my 5-man unit of Plague Marines did not move, did not shoot, did not get shot at. They literally... You know when you take an unruly child to a store and you're like, sit there.
You put them in fucking timeout, John.
Sit there, hold this objective. Don't do it like, oh, we can see these Terminators. Like, don't fucking just sit there. Don't do anything.
Fuck up. Sit in the corner, Johnny.
And that's what they did. But yeah, so once I'd taken out all of the Plague Marines. Oh, another Danny move that I did that I wouldn't have done before is he deep struck 2 units of 5 Terminators into my back line and started advancing towards the central objective. He took the mission-specific secondary to hold his deployment zone and hold the center. And I just reversed a Plague Burst Crawler across 2 buildings and plugged the gap. And like,
hell yeah.
And you can't get through. You can't go around. I know Flail of Corruptions are good, but they're not going to be killing a Plague Burst Crawler in 2 turns. So I was like, beep. Yeah, I can't shoot my mortar, but the rest of it's good to go. So that was a super clutch move. Also, they were run as Mortarian's Anvil. So a lot of the time throughout this tournament, I got a lot of cool free movement from heroically intervening my army. So that was super.
What I'm talking about, homie.
That was super helpful. Another cool thing I was able to do is on the central objective, I was able to have my Foul Blight Spawn hold the central objective. Well, the Death Shroud hid behind a ruin out of sight, but you also couldn't shoot the Foul Blight Spawn because he was within 3 of those guys.
Nice.
Just real big brain plays all throughout.
Dude, that Foul Blight Spawn styled over your opponent's army big time.
He was just, swinging his dick out in the wind, and they were like, well, I'm not going to shoot that. That's gross.
I will exist. You cannot stop me.
I won that game at 99-67.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Almost perfect score.
Almost perfect. The only thing that I didn't get that let me down was not being in 4 table quarters turn 1 for engaging friends.
Yeah, you were only semi-tactically perfect.
Yeah. Tactically adequate. Taylor, how was your game 3?
Oh my god. My game was versus Matt Morse, who is a great dude. He was running. I'm actually really glad I got to have this game with Morse, because the last time I played him was when I was running Custodes and he was running Grey Knights, and I flipped my fucking lid.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh, is that when the judge talked to us both about our behavior about Smite?
It is, yes. It was that exact scenario.
Hell yeah.
So he was running 3 Warglaves, 3 Lightning Walk Morax, 1 Atropos, and then he had a successor Iron Hands Vanguard of Whirlwind of Rage and Fallback and Charge with 1 Tech Marine. I don't get that, but he had 1 Tech Marine and 3 5-man Blade Guard vets. So he could pop the strat to give them a 6 Infinite Pain whenever he wanted. And they could fall back charge. They have exploding 6s in melee. And he was also playing Crast for his Warglaves and stuff. So they all reroll hits when they get into combat.
Okay. Sounds pretty aggressive.
It was very aggressive. He moved his entire army at me, except for the dudes on his back objective. Moved everything a bunch of inches at me turn 1. And I was super worried about this matchup because I only had 40 Rangers, which means I only had 2 squads I could boost to strength 5 over the course of the game. because everybody else is Vanguard, and Vanguard aren't super Omega Pog into vehicles.
Well, and I was going to say the Rangers actually have game in that army in another way,
right?
In that they're way more effective than the Vanguard against the Warglaves, right?
Right, against everything like the Strength 4, the natural AP. It's all awesome in that matchup. I definitely over the weekend wish I had 60 Rangers and 40 Vanguard, and not the other way around. But I was really worried about this matchup. Most of my stuff is AP 1 or 0. I don't have any heavy firepower. And then I went second. Okay, so then he went first. He killed 14 Skitarii. And then I went second, and I killed...
That's it?
That's it. And I killed all of the Warglaves. I killed 3 Moirax. I killed all the Moirax. That's what it was. I killed all the Moirax and the Warglaves.
Shit.
Yeah. So turn 1, looks like this isn't a problem anymore. And then so from that point on, he was like, okay, I got to get mega aggressive, because if I don't, he was already mega aggressive, right? Like he already moved his entire army at me turn 1. So I put out a sacrificial Vanguard squad in for my stuff. He charged it with basically everything. And then I boosted, on my turn 2, I boosted the Ranger squad to Strength 5, AP 2, Rapid Fire 2, additional AP, Rapid Firing farther away, teleported the 20-man into optimal position, and one-shot the Knight after like 3 bombs.
What? How much did... They killed it by themselves, just the Rangers?
No, so I did bomb him first.
Oh. It was just
3 bombers?
He only went down to 20 wounds. Because he used the 5 of Fuel Pain strat against the bombs. So he went from 26 to about 20 wounds, and then from 20 to 0 once the Ranger shot him. Just out of there.
Oh my god.
Real good.
Yeah. I also popped the +1 hit doctrine just to like
make sure.
For sure. Yeah. Right. And then after that, after I killed that Knight, I killed the rest of the Warglaves. I killed 10 more Blade Guard. So on turn 3, all he had left was the Tech Marine and 1 Blade Guard squad in the very back, holding his back objective. So that was pretty rough. I didn't lose. I lost 1 full squad of Skitarii and 14 from that first squad that got shot, and that was it. Also, my infiltrators straight up one-shot a Armiger. They took it from 100 to 0, which I thought was fun. I had to spend 2 CP for it, but like, that was great.
Did you do the Tesla strat and the?
Actually, I spent 3 CP for it because I did the Tesla strat, the extra attack strat, and going to Strength 7.
Oh man, yeah, Strength 7 is huge against that target.
Hell yeah! So they rolled up, paid 3 CP, and just zapped him off the face of the earth.
That's awesome.
So that was the game where I'm like, okay, wow, that was a lot. And I won that game. If BCP will load, I won that game 81-42, which, I mean, for as much as a death blow as it was, 42 is a great score. And I missed a couple points off of Engage. I think it was Engage, yeah, because I had to run back to deal with all this stuff.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
God,
what's up?
Your list has no chickens.
No chickens.
Yeah, see, that's the man, and that's even more impressive to me then.
Right. It was my entire list essentially was anti-infantry shots. And like it still pulled down a majority T7 and also a T8 boy in 2 turns, like with no problem.
Unreal.
It was nuts, man.
Bro.
God, I hate AbMac.
Yeah, they're nuts, dude. They're crazy. I'm probably switching to Dark Eldar, though. I actually didn't have a ton of fun with the army this weekend. When I was winning, it was overwhelming, and I'm just kind of rolling a bunch of dice. not really making a lot of choices. I'm just kind of unloading my firepower onto my opponent's face. And when I'm losing, it's like, well, I'm just kind of bad at the game. That sucks. So I'm gonna play DE until clowns come out, and then I can unleash my full awesome might upon the earth when clowns get a buck. Because that's the truest army of my heart. That's where my true love lies.
Yeah.
I fucking love clowns.
Let me tell you how much my brain fucking hurt on Saturday night with the sheer amount of thinking I had to put into every goddamn game. Because, my list killed a lot of stuff, but you know what I didn't think of when I was building it?
What's up?
Secondaries. At all.
John, those are important.
Those are really important. So against Mike Pestilence, where his list doesn't really give up secondaries, I'm just like, oh, shit. Okay. I think it's a really good exercise in getting better, though, because you have to really fight for every point. But yeah, like just the sheer amount of thought I had to do and the placement and the movement. I don't know how you do it, Danny, or even Taylor. It's agonizing. I have yet to like unwrinkle my brain from the weekend.
That's what. Oh, sorry. You go ahead. Okay. See, that's what I want. I want to fucking like uniron my brain when I'm playing. That's my favorite, is when I have to think a ton and play super tight or just immediately lose because my army will just implode. That's what I want. I don't want the infinite flat fields of brain matter when I'm playing fucking AdMech. I'm just pressing the shoot button, and it hurts my back. There are so many shots in that army. If you're within range of all of my units, I put out like 400 shots.
Yep.
It's not fair to my poor hands.
Just don't shoot your guns. It's fine.
I have to.
You gotta get that dice app, Taylor.
I can't and I won't.
It's also no longer made and was removed from the App Store.
That was the can't part.
Yeah. Fair. Big fair. So I ended up winning that RTT, actually. Just saying.
Hell yeah, dude.
Little tip of the hat there.
Man.
Hell yeah. And then instantly it's going to throw it away next month for the giggles. And then Taylor, you also did super good too after a rocky round 1.
Yeah, so I placed 6th. If we give me paint score, I placed 3rd. So in my heart, I placed 3rd.
And that is insane to me that you went up like 3 places from paint.
Yeah, it's given me the big upsetty spaghetti, so I got to pay my shit now. But yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with that. First tournament back, the 2-1 curse remains unto eternity, but I will overcome it.
That's right.
And DE play the game a lot more how I want to play the game. So I think I'll actually do a lot better even.
Amazing.
But I'm super fucking excited.
And then next up, July 10th, the return of Danny to the tournament scene for one last fling. You bringing stupid AdMac?
I don't know. Maybe.
God, I hate you. Please don't. Just make it a fun experience for others.
So what? I should bring like Craft World Eldar.
Hell yeah! Look, imagine that feather in your cap. Like, look, I won with Craft World Eldar. Nothing.
I was gonna say like Necrons probably.
Nothing but Guardian Defenders everywhere.
Never underestimate Guardian Defenders.
I do have a lot of Guardians.
There you go. It's all kinds of fun. Well, we're gonna take
Just kidding. I'm playing AdMech, you fucking bitches. I'm gonna bring that shit. It's gonna be so rad. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take my hobby handicap, and give everybody an extra 10 points over me to start with. I think that's my plan.
Fuck yeah.
You should.
I'm not gonna win, but I'm gonna have fun.
You should really point out that you're giving everyone a free 10 points because they need it more than you do. Yeah.
That's why it's a handicap, John, like in golf.
Real sportsmanship, right there. We're gonna take a break.
That's what we're about here on Mob Rules.
Fuck yeah. Seal Club in time. We're gonna take a break. Danny, Taylor, you'll hear nothing, but I'll mute you and then I'll scream when we're back.
Love hearing nothing.
Do you like cookies but want something more British? Buy biscuits. Not like those you have for gravy. British biscuits. For dunking in your British tea. Stiff upper lip guaranteed. biscuits, as recommended by Queen Liz of the Britons.
Ah,
True.
Got him.
got it.
Agreed.
Hey, real quick before we wrap up here, let's chat about Frontline Gaming made some major announcements about the ITC tournament circuit. More importantly, the code of conduct.
Yeah, baby. I'm into it.
God.
So yeah, let me pull this up here, which is why I should have probably played a longer ad, but that's okay. Who needs editing? Yeah, ITC updated their code of conduct, and now there are point-based penalties that go along with the yellow cards and the red cards. That, God, I'm glad they're still there, so we can still try and maybe buy an ad spot on them. What are you guys' thoughts on these?
Didn't you go first?
Overall, good. There's some interesting specifics, but yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about some of these. Like, you have to have tokens, or else you'll get cards.
Yep.
Which I think is good.
So tailor all your weird bullshitty buffs. Danny too, you're gonna need cards for those.
Yeah, I gotta figure that out, like where I want to get them from. I feel like there's got to be some aftermarket stuff available.
I spent like 40 minutes before the tournament writing stuff like transhuman, +6 range, -1 AP, martial buff. Wrote all of those down on the pieces of paper, and then I just forgot them at home.
Oh,
I thought you said you wrote it on your face like that dude from Memento.
You can't stop me. I'll do it.
True.
True. So I am personally pretty excited about this. I've always felt that the card system was pretty weak with no actual penalty. It was just like, I can cheat twice before I'm punished kind of thing, right? So I'm glad that there's actual like material lost now. I haven't looked at the specifics, so I don't know what weirdness lies within.
Well, let me tell you.
I'm excited.
Well, be excited, Jesus.
I'm excited about the premise for sure.
So you must meet the deadline to submit your lists prior to an event. For Frontline Gaming events, this is a 1 week prior. If you do not do so, you get a yellow card, which is the same, and you will receive a 20-point deduction to your round 1 game score.
I mean, yeah.
Which is huge.
Submit your shit on time, bro.
And like, show up to the games, do what you're supposed to do, like play clean, like understand your rules. I think those are all super important.
Right. There's just no reason to be fucking weird and underhanded about anything. It's just a game, man. Like, we're here to have fun. We're here to be bros. We're not here to like fucking get it like advantage over each other. Like, I don't know, if I wait 7 minutes, I can see their list before I submit mine, or I could just go to the table and like I don't know, like psychologically manipulate someone into trying to play worse because they feel bad or whatever. Like, it's a bunch of fucking garbage. Just play the game.
I agree.
Yeah. Modeling for advantage. So, when you would like maybe magnetize your gun, poke it out, and then kind of poke it back in again so you can't see. That is a 20 victory point penalty.
Wait, what is that, a 20 point? Is that really? Is that called model manipulation or something?
Modeling for advantage is a yellow card penalty, and if discovered after it has resulted in the owning player gaining an advantage, is a 20 victory point penalty. It may result in an automatic red card if the advantage is being taken multiple times over the course of several games.
See.
Interesting.
So yeah, if you're poking yourself out and then moving it to hide again afterwards, that's modeling for advantage.
Well, it's movement. You can't move it and not in your move. Like, I've had this argument with people online actually. Like, this is something that fucking sweaties in the Discord have brought up. Like, could I poke it out and then put it back in? Like, my answer generally is, well, you're not in your fucking movement phase, so no, you can't move your model.
I mean, you can, but you're gonna be the sex offender registry.
See, is this now a challenge for me to see how big a negative score I can get over the course of an event?
Okay.
Just by being a dick.
Because, yeah, incorrectly submitting a list is minus 20 victory points. Unsportsmanlike conduct is minus 20 victory points. And then dice infraction is minus 10 points. So what you could do, you show up at the table. You're like, here's my list, you piece of shit. I didn't submit it so I could fucking turbo game you. And then you could be like, or roll the dice. It landed behind a ruin. It's a 6. Don't fucking worry about it. Right there, you're already 50 points behind. So, I mean...
No, would you do the actual method, which is a couple minutes before you place a 6 into the terrain, and then you roll the dice into the terrain on an important roll, and then you just blow up the 6.
Yeah. It's what you got to do.
Whoa.
I know that one because God, I can't remember his fucking name, but that's something that people actually did in an event.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the cool part. I mean, I don't know if this was here before. I don't feel it was, but there's an entire section about teams or clubs.
Oh,
Okay.
So, in the course of playing events, it may come to pass that a specific team or club has members on it that have repeatedly caused issues at events, individually or as a group. When the ITC is determined a team or club or any number of its members have been consistently behaving contrary to the club code of conduct, ITC will inform the club, and the ITC tournament organizers will give the club one of the following labels. Warning: a team that has been given the warning label has been found to behave against code of conduct. And the ITC suggests players on teams with a warning proceed with caution at events. This label lasts for 6 months. On watch, which should be closely observed during events by the TO. That label lasts for 12 months. Yellow status recommends all members of a team on yellow status start events with a yellow card and a verbal warning from the judges. And then,
Damn.
Which is 12 months from the date and is issued at a minimum and can be increased to up to 36 months at the discretion of the ITC. Or after that, it's banned.
Sick.
I mean,
like that's actually keeping track of like bad actors. Like,
yep.
That's great. That's awesome.
The team club is banned from ITC competition, may never reform under the same name or with a composition of more than 25% of its former members. Stripped of all their ITC points from the current season, are banned from competition in the ITC for the next season in its entirety.
dang.
Okay, dude.
That is the big news here, if you're asking me. Because that's moving a lot of the policing of the players to the teams.
Yeah.
Because...
Which fucking sick.
Yeah, which is good, because you think that, say you have Art of War as a team. If you have 2 players there who are just drunken dicks at a tournament, are they going to risk their entire ability to be a team on that? Or are they going to start managing from within? Like us, if we have 1 or 2 people, are we going to like risk it? That's a really good rule.
Yeah, totally. Hopefully,
and it makes sure that the teams aren't having like these shitheads continue to like take down the rest of the team. They're just going to say, well, you're not on our fucking team anymore.
No.
Right. And hopefully they'll, continually kick out more shitheads in the community.
Yep.
Which is only positive.
Yeah. It's a massive document made by a lot of judges and a lot of ITC people. But literally all of it is positive for the community. And it's all things that we've been asking for like the longest time, is to have something codified. And we now have, I think, a really solid code of conduct about what's expected at a competitive event. And I really think it's only going to help sort of the play experience at an LVO, at a Lone Star Open, and kind of other events coming up. And
yeah, dude, I'm pogging right now. I'm fucking pogging. It's happening.
And now reading this, like, Danny, we're going to have a team meeting to be like, hey, so we should probably make sure we're all following this.
Yeah, we're going to have to get Joe out of here.
Because, yeah, I don't want labels. I don't want a little warning label. Not a carton of cigarettes. Yeah. So, big chance. Definitely read it. You don't want to start down points for stupid reasons. But, yeah, it's great.
True.
Danny, we've been doing Frontline Gaming Network things. We've done 2 episodes now of Grim After Dark. We've talked to Brad Chester, winner of ACO, and then also Taylor, who we made stay around to talk to us more.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. What are your thoughts so far? What are your thoughts so far? Yeah.
Oh, what? Sorry, can you say that again? It just sounded like garbled speech coming out of the microphone. This is excellent radio. Thank you for listening to us.
So what are your thoughts so far and kind of your experience and kind of doing a weekly show and then that kind of fun?
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. So that makes sense. So, yeah, it's been interesting. Definitely you can feel the pressure increase. I know John and I have said that a little bit. Like whereas we're a little bit more natural on here, and that kind of stuff. Well, I guess we're pretty unscripted on Grim After Dark, to be honest.
Some people want us a little more
coming
scripted.
Up with material is difficult, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it's
structure is more pressure for sure, right?
Yeah. But it's awesome. Like, I'm glad we're doing that. Like, I'm cool with our set. You know,
it's so good.
like I've said some other places, it's pretty dope to be able to record from the safety of my bunker inside my my vault full of money that I get from being a Games Workshop reviewer.
True.
They do pay the big bills,
huge bills.
Where is it? Oh man, I want to do a joke, but I can't find the stupid box. Oh, there we go. Wait, look, you hear this? Pure Acadians, baby. Pure Acadians.
I mean, I can't hear it, but I'll take your word.
Hell
for it.
yeah.
I definitely believe you.
It'll come through on post, maybe. Not really. Yeah,
you do a post.
It was a lot of fun, and I think the big takeaway for me was like the week before we launched, I'm trying to be like, well, I guess I got to go learn how to do this and do this. And Val's like, oh no, you got an editor. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well, so I should probably go learn this. I was like, oh no, you got a producer. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Where as much as I joke about not editing here, not having that safety net of being able to cover up my fuck ups, is real weird.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, though. It's pretty fucking nice.
It's also really nice because now I have to kind of put this up and do this all together later on. Yeah, it's been super great. Richard, the producer, is amazing what he does. Tyler, the editor, just amazing as well. And then, it's just been very welcoming. And the viewers have been super nice to us, which is really nice because, again, when people say, hey, it's Jon and Danny from Mob Rules, you're like, oh yeah, people won't know that. Yeah, don't say that. Let's just start afresh here.
Don't look at me. Do not.
But yeah, it's been super nice, and we're excited to keep it going and growing and doing stupid little games. Like, I really enjoyed the 2 games that we did so far.
They've been really fun.
Yeah. So if you were, I think, a special Mob Rules preview, like some of them I have coming up are like Valspar paint color or Frontline Gaming matte design, or kind of just real nice stupid things. And then I think next time we're gonna get Phil on Glacial Geek.
Oh, cool!
Nice.
So I'll probably do like Ice Planet from 40K or Word I Just Made Up, or like something stupid like that. Just real highbrow stuff going on. But it's been a lot of fun. You can find us on Frontline Gaming Network's Twitch channel, live date to be determined on there. You also find us on their Facebook page, Frontline Gaming, and YouTube at Team Zero Comp. Taylor, anything else you want to add in here before we wrap it up for the day?
I don't believe so. I think I'm all good.
Amazing.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem at any time. Danny, anything else you wanted to wrap up there, seeing though I plugged like literally everything?
So keep listening to the Rogue Trader Network, even though it's just...
I was just following kind of routine of forgetting to mention the Rogue Trader Network.
Well, it's just us and NZ, so you guys should definitely listen to them. They're still awesome. Dangly Boys did have an unfortunate breakup, but check out Seth on the Frontline Gaming Network, and also on his own channel. Seth the Med.
Every Wednesday night, Signals from the Frontline with Shelby, Seth, and Kicker has been amazing. And then,
Shelby's doing such a good job.
Amazing.
Like, yeah. And like, I know that they're all doing such a good job, right? Like, but like, I know that it's tough to do that. I totally empathize with them every week.
Yes. As I'm like, oh my God, what I'm going to talk about in 30 minutes.
Right?
Yeah. And then definitely, like I said, keep checking out NZ 40 Shabal. Really great New Zealand content, even if they are too cowardly to go to a team tournament this weekend because they have children and lives.
Oh my God.
The worst.
Bunch of babies.
Well, boys, we're going to wrap this up. We will be back in 4 weeks, maybe sooner. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a post-tournament special. But we appreciate your support, your continued listening. Check us out on the Frontline Gaming Network as well as all their other shows. Listen to our old podcasts. Call me a dick. Well, I mean, whatever you really want to do, we're here for it. For Mob Rules, I've been John.
I've been Danny.
I've been Taylor.
And we'll see you sometime.